The New York Knicks suddenly have plenty to keep an eye on as fresh reports point to several developments that could shape the rest of their offseason. With 2 veteran minimum roster spots still available, the biggest question is who New York plans to target next. One of the names generating serious buzz is Dorian Finney-Smith, and that's where this conversation begins. The report was shared rest sleeper Knicks citing Rod Boone, so the first thing people naturally want to know is whether that information can actually be trusted. Looking at Boone's reputation, there are good reasons to take the report seriously. He's followed by respected NBA insiders like Ian Begley and Shams Charania, along with several other well-known reporters, which adds credibility to what he's hearing. The same information has also been echoed by Ari from the Air Report, who contributes to Consensus NBA and has built connections with reliable league sources, including Chris Persiana and Ian Begley. According to those reports, conversations have been taking place behind the scenes between Dorian Finney-Smith and the Charlotte Hornets regarding a potential buyout. If that happens, he would become a free agent and be free to choose his next destination. Now, there are 2 obvious questions that immediately come up. The first is why Charlotte would move on from a player they just acquired. The explanation being offered is that his arrival was tied to a salary dump situation rather than a long-term basketball fit. Based on what these insiders are reporting, the Hornets don't appear to view him as part of their future plans. The second concern is one Knicks fans have been repeating for weeks. Shouldn't the team be focused on adding another big man instead of another wing? That's a fair point, but the reality is New York still has more than one need to address. They could use another scoring option off the bench to replace the role Jordan Clarkson filled, while also bringing in additional front-court depth. Even if a backup center remains the bigger priority, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the next move the front office makes. So don't be surprised if the Knicks pursue a bench scorer before filling that third-string center spot. If Charlotte ultimately buys out Dorian Finney-Smith and he reaches free agency, New York could absolutely emerge as one of the teams interested in signing him. There's also another possibility where the Hornets place him on waivers first. The expectation, however, is that he would clear waivers and eventually hit the open market as a free agent. Dorian Finney-Smith isn't the kind of player you bring in to create offense with a second unit. His value has always come from being a classic 3-and-D wing who spaces the floor and defends multiple positions. If you've been following the NBA, you already know the type of player he is, especially since he's been with several different teams over the years. He was also part of the transaction connected to the Luka Doncic trade, even though the timeline around those moves can be a little confusing. What has made Finney-Smith valuable throughout most of his career is his ability to knock down open three-pointers.
That part of his game, however, took a major step backward during the 2025-26 season with the Houston Rockets, where he shot just 27.0% from beyond the arc. Before that slump, though, his numbers were much stronger, shooting 39.8% with the Lakers, 43.5% in a 20-game stretch with the Nets, and 34.8% during the previous season in Brooklyn. So there's a solid track record suggesting he can be an effective perimeter shooter. The concern is that his most recent season simply didn't live up to that standard. Could he bounce back? Absolutely. Whether he actually does is the bigger question. His production last season was underwhelming across the board, averaging 3.3 points, 2.5 rebounds, 1 assist, 0.4 steals, and 0.2 blocks in about 17 minutes per game. He still shot free throws well, but the overall impact just wasn't there, making him a far less exciting option than his reputation might suggest. Right now, Finney-Smith is being mentioned as a possible Knicks target by several NBA writers. The important distinction is that those are opinions and projections, not reports based on insider information. At this point, there isn't any confirmed insider reporting directly connecting him to New York. A situation that does have legitimate insider reporting attached to it involves DeMar DeRozan. His name surfaced in connection with the Knicks a couple of days ago, and shortly afterward, the Sacramento Kings moved on from him. Once he officially clears waivers, he'll be free to sign with any team. That naturally led to speculation about whether New York could bring him in as a scoring option off the bench. The biggest obstacle is obvious. To join the Knicks, DeRozan would likely have to accept the veteran minimum contract. That would be an incredible value for New York, but it's a much tougher sell from DeRozan's perspective. Considering he hasn't had much postseason success, it's fair to wonder if he'd be interested in joining the defending champions with a chance to make another deep playoff run. Still, respected insider Ian Begley poured cold water on those rumors, saying, "I don't think there's anything there on either end." According to Ian Begley, Knicks fans shouldn't expect anything to develop between New York and DeMar DeRozan. His view is that there isn't much interest from either side, with the Knicks not actively pursuing DeRozan and New York not appearing to be high on his preferred destinations. At this point, Begley believes that speculation can pretty much be put to rest. So while it was an interesting possibility to discuss, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Another potential Knicks target also came off the market shortly afterward. Shams Charania reported that free agent center Kevon Looney agreed to a one-year $3.9 million contract with the Los Angeles Lakers, with the deal confirmed through Life Sports Agency CEO Todd Ramasar. That immediately removes one of the more realistic backup center options from New York's list. The Lakers have now added another player the Knicks had been linked to, forcing New York to continue searching for depth in the front court.
Because of that move, the focus shifts even more toward the player many believe has become the Knicks' top remaining target. Recent reporting highlighted comments from Ian Begley, who emphasized that replacing both Mitchell Robinson and Ariel Hukporty in the center rotation remains a priority. That makes Jonas Valanciunas look like an even stronger candidate if he becomes available. With DeRozan no longer viewed as a realistic option and Looney off the board, the Knicks are still trying to solve two important needs. They need another big man, and they also need someone who can provide instant offense off the bench. One interesting possibility is that Jordan Clarkson could simply return and fill that scoring role himself. His shot creation and perimeter scoring would address exactly what the second unit is missing, so that idea still makes plenty of sense. The tougher question is who ultimately fills that third center spot. Right now, Jonas Valanciunas appears to be the name generating the most optimism. For that to happen, though, the Denver Nuggets would first have to move on from him, allowing him to become a free agent. He's still owed $10 million this season, although only $2 million is reportedly guaranteed, which could make a release financially reasonable for Denver. Even then, New York would still need Valanciunas to stay in the NBA instead of heading overseas if the Knicks hope to bring him in.